Let me tell you about the day I died. Not physically, but in every other way that mattered. The day I looked in the mirror and did not recognize the hollow-eyed stranger staring back at me. My name is Lily Taylor, and this is the story of how I destroyed my life with my own hands, and how one woman refused to let me stay destroyed. This is a story about addiction, about hitting rock bottom, about losing everything. But it is also a story about second chances, about love that waits, about finding yourself when you thought you were lost forever. If you have ever felt broken beyond repair, if you have ever made choices that haunted you, if you have ever wondered if redemption is possible, this story is for you. So buckle up. This is going to hurt before it gets better. But I promise you, it does get better. I grew up normal. That is the part people never believe. They look at me now, or rather, they look at who I was 2 years ago, and they assume I came from chaos. But I did not. I grew up in Miami, in a modest 3-bedroom house in a quiet neighborhood. My parents, Tom and Susan Taylor, were good people. Dad worked in construction. Mom was a school secretary. We were not rich, but we were not poor either. We were just normal, middle class, ordinary. I was a good kid. I got decent grades. I had friends. I played soccer in middle school. I liked art class and hated math. I was ordinary in every single way, until I was not. It started when I was 21. I had graduated high school, done a year of community college, but I was not sure what I wanted to do with my life. I was working part-time at a retail store, living at home, trying to figure things out. That is when I met them, Jake, Marcus, and Sienna. They seemed cool, fun, exciting. They went to parties. They knew people. They made life feel less boring. "Come out with us," Sienna said one Friday night. "We are going to this party in South Beach. It is going to be amazing." I should have said no. I should have stayed home. But I was 21 and restless and desperate for my life to feel like something more than just existing. So I went. The party was in a warehouse that had been converted into some kind of club. It was crowded, loud, pulsing with music and bodies. Everyone seemed to be on another level, moving with an energy I did not have. "Here," Marcus said, handing me a small pill. "This will help you loosen up." "What is it?" I asked. "Just something to make the night better. Trust me." I should not have taken it. I should have asked more questions. But I was young and stupid and wanted to fit in. I took the pill, and everything changed. That first high was like nothing I had ever experienced. Everything felt sharper, brighter, more intense. The music pulsed through my body. I danced for hours without getting tired. I felt connected to everyone around me, like we were all part of something beautiful. I felt alive for the first time in my life. Of course, the next day I felt like death. My head pounded, my body ached. I was exhausted and depressed. "That is normal," Sienna said when I texted her. "It is just the come down. You will feel better in a day or two." She was right. By the 3rd day, I felt okay again. But I also felt empty. The normal world seemed gray and boring compared to how I had felt that night. "Want to go out again this weekend?" Jake asked. I should have said no. I should have recognized the danger, but I did not. "Yeah," I said. "That sounds fun." And just like that, I was in. For the next few months, I partied with them every weekend, sometimes twice a week. I told my parents I was staying with friends, which was technically true. I just did not mention the drugs. At first, it was just pills at parties, but then it became pills during the week too, just to get through boring shifts at work, just to feel something other than numb. Then it was not just pills anymore. Marcus introduced me to other things: cocaine, meth, whatever he could get his hands on. "This stuff is better," he said. "Cleaner, you will love it." And I did love it. I loved how it made me feel invincible. I loved how it chased away every negative thought. I loved how it made my boring, ordinary life feel like it mattered. What I did not realize was that I was not falling in love with the drugs. I was falling into addiction. My parents started noticing things. I was losing weight. I had dark circles under my eyes. I was irritable and secretive. "Lily, are you okay?" my mom asked one morning. "You do not look well." "I am fine, Mom, just tired from work." "Maybe you should see a doctor." "I am fine," I snapped. "Stop worrying so much." But I was not fine. I was far from fine. By the time I was 22, I was using almost every day. I could not function without it. I could not work, could not sleep, could not exist without something in my system. I lost my retail job for showing up high. I stopped going to community college classes. I stopped answering my parents' calls. All I cared about was getting high. Nothing else mattered. My parents kicked me out when I was 22 and a half. I do not blame them. I had stolen money from my mom's purse multiple times. I had come home at 4 in the morning, so high I could barely speak. I had screamed at them when they tried to help. "You need to get help, Lily," my dad said, his voice breaking. "You need to go to rehab." "I do not need rehab," I yelled. "I am fine. You are the ones with the problem, always trying to control me." "We are trying to save you," my mom sobbed. "Baby, please, let us help you." "I do not need your help. I do not need anything from you." That was the last conversation we had for a long time. I moved into Jake's apartment. It was a dump in a bad part of Miami. 3 bedrooms, 5 people living there, drugs and trash everywhere. But I did not care. As long as I could get high, nothing else mattered. Life became a blur. Days blended together. I would wake up, try to find money for drugs, get high, pass out, wake up, repeat. I stopped showering regularly. I stopped eating regular meals. I stopped caring about anything. My appearance deteriorated. My blonde hair became greasy and unkempt. My skin broke out. I lost so much weight my clothes hung off me. I developed sores on my face from picking at my skin when I was high. I looked in the mirror one day and did not recognize myself. The girl staring back at me was a stranger. Hollow eyes, sunken cheeks, dead inside. But I still could not stop. When I did not have money for drugs, the withdrawal was hell. Shaking, sweating, vomiting, feeling like every nerve in my body was on fire. I would do anything to make it stop. I stole from stores. I begged strangers for money. Once I even went back to my parents' house when they were at work and broke in, stealing whatever I could sell. I was not a person anymore. I was just an addict. That was my entire identity. Everything fell apart on a Tuesday in October. Jake had gotten a large shipment of drugs from his dealer. We were all high, celebrating, not thinking clearly. Someone, I do not even remember who, suggested we go for a drive. We piled into Jake's beat-up car, 5 of us crammed in, music blaring, drugs in the glove compartment. We made it maybe 3 blocks before we saw the flashing lights. "Shit," Jake said. "Shit, shit." He tried to run, but he was too high to drive well. The police car cut him off easily. Within minutes, we were surrounded. "Everyone out of the vehicle," a voice commanded over a loudspeaker. "Hands where we can see them." My heart was pounding so hard I thought it would explode. This was it. This was the end. We were arrested, all 5 of us, handcuffed, read our rights. I sat in that back seat, my hands cuffed behind me, and for the first time in months, I felt something other than numbness. I felt fear. Real, genuine, bone-deep fear. What had I done? What had I become? At the police station, we were separated. I was put in a holding cell by myself. The withdrawal was already starting. I could feel it creeping in, the shakes, the nausea. I curled up on the hard bench and cried. Not pretty crying. Ugly, desperate, hopeless crying. This was my life now. Arrested, addicted, alone. Hours passed. Maybe it was 1 hour. Maybe it was 5. Time had no meaning. All I knew was that I was getting sicker by the minute. Then the cell door opened. A woman walked in. She was tall, maybe 5'8", with black hair pulled back in a professional bun. She wore dark slacks and a button-up shirt with a badge clipped to her belt. She looked to be in her late 30s, with sharp, intelligent eyes and a face that was both stern and somehow kind. "Lily Taylor," she said. I nodded, not trusting my voice. "I am Commander Michelle Johnson. I am with the Miami Narcotics Division. I need to ask you some questions." I looked up at her through my tears and tangled hair, and for reasons I could not explain, I felt the tiniest spark of something. Not hope, exactly, but maybe the distant memory of what hope used to feel like. Commander Johnson pulled up a chair and sat across from me. She did not look disgusted by me, which surprised me. Most people looked at addicts like we were garbage. "How long have you been using, Lily?" she asked. Her voice was firm but not cruel. "About a year," I whispered. "What are you on?" "Everything. Pills, coke, meth. Whatever I can get." She nodded, writing notes. "And Jake Reeves, Marcus Turner, Sienna Cole, they are your suppliers." "They are my friends." "Are they?" She looked at me directly. "Because friends do not drag you into addiction and then abandon you when things go bad." I did not have an answer for that. "Lily, I am going to be honest with you. You are in serious trouble. Possession with intent to distribute. You are looking at significant jail time." My stomach dropped, but I was not distributing. I was just using. "You were in a car with a large quantity of drugs. In the eyes of the law, you are all equally responsible. That is not fair." "Maybe not, but that is how it works." She paused. "However, there might be another option." I looked up. "What option?" "If you cooperate with our investigation, if you testify against Jake and Marcus and help us understand their supply chain, we might be able to work out a deal. Reduced charges, mandatory rehab instead of jail time." "You want me to snitch?" "I want you to save yourself, Lily. Jake and Marcus, they are not your friends. They are dealers who got you hooked to make money off you. They do not care about you. But I am offering you a chance to get your life back." I sat there, shaking from withdrawal, feeling sicker by the minute. Part of me wanted to tell her to go to hell. But a bigger part of me, a part I thought had died, whispered that maybe this was my way out. "I need to think about it," I said. "You have 24 hours. After that, the offer is off the table." She stood to leave, then paused. "Lily, I have been doing this job for 15 years. I have seen hundreds of addicts. Some of them make it out. Most do not. The ones who make it are the ones who choose to fight." "Choose to fight, Lily. You are young. You can still have a life." Then she left, and I was alone again with my thoughts and my withdrawal and my fear. I spent that night in hell. The withdrawal got worse. I vomited until there was nothing left. I shook so hard I thought my bones would break. I sweated through my clothes. Every nerve in my body screamed for drugs. But somewhere in that misery, I made a decision. I did not want to die like this. I did not want to be an addict forever. I did not want to lose myself completely. When Commander Johnson came back the next morning, I said yes. "I will cooperate. I will tell you everything I know. Just please help me get clean." Something flickered in her eyes. Relief, maybe, or respect. "Okay, Lily, let's get you out of here and into treatment." The next few weeks were the hardest of my life. I was placed in a court-mandated rehab facility. It was not a nice place. It was institutional and cold and full of people as broken as me. The detox was agony. They gave me medication to help with the withdrawal, but it was still brutal. Days of shaking and sweating and wanting to die. But I got through it. Somehow, I got through it. Commander Johnson visited me twice during that time. Once to get my full statement about Jake and Marcus's operation, and once, surprisingly, just to check on me. "How are you doing?" she asked during that second visit. "I feel like hell," I said honestly. "But I am still here. That is all that matters. Keep showing up, Lily. keep fighting. There was something in the way she looked at me. Something I could not quite name. It was not pity. It was not professional detachment. It was something else. Something warmer. But I was too sick and too broken to think about it much. After 30 days in rehab, I was released with strict conditions. Weekly drug tests, mandatory therapy, community service. Any violation would send me straight to jail. I moved into a sober living house with 5 other women in recovery. It was not great, but it was clean and drug-free. And slowly, painfully slowly, I started to get better. My skin cleared up. I gained some weight back. My hair looked healthier. I could think clearly for the first time in over a year. I got a job at a coffee shop. Nothing glamorous, but it was honest work and it gave me purpose. I started going to NA meetings. I got a sponsor. I worked the steps. 3 months after my arrest, Commander Johnson's case against Jake and Marcus went to trial. I testified, telling the truth about how they had gotten me addicted, how they had supplied me, how they had controlled me. It was terrifying, sitting in that courtroom, looking at people who I had once called friends. But I did it. They were both convicted, sentenced to significant prison time. After the trial, Commander Johnson found me outside the courthouse. "You did good in there," she said. "Thank you for everything. For giving me a chance. You gave yourself a chance, Lily. You chose to fight." I just opened the door. We stood there for a moment, and I felt something pass between us. Something I did not understand. Something that made my heart beat faster. "Good luck, Lily," she said. Then she walked away. I watched her go, and I realized something that surprised me. I did not want her to leave. I wanted to know more about her. I wanted to thank her properly. But I pushed those thoughts away. She was a cop. I was a recovering addict. We existed in different worlds. I went back to my sober living house and focused on my recovery. And that should have been the end of our story. But it was not. For the next 1.5 years, I stayed clean. I worked hard. I went to meetings. I rebuilt my relationship with my parents, slowly and carefully. It was not easy. There were days I wanted to use so badly I could barely breathe. There were nights I cried myself to sleep, feeling the weight of everything I had lost. But I stayed clean. I moved out of the sober living house and into my own small studio apartment. It was not much, but it was mine. I paid my own rent with money I earned honestly. I thought about Commander Johnson sometimes. Wondered how she was doing. Wondered if she ever thought about me. But I did not reach out. She had been a professional doing her job. That was all. I turned 24. I had been clean for 18 months. I was proud of myself. My parents were proud of me. Life was not perfect, but it was good. And then Jake got out of prison early on good behavior. I did not know Jake was out until he showed up at the coffee shop where I worked. I was wiping down tables when I heard a familiar voice. "Hey, Lily." I looked up and my blood ran cold. Jake stood there, looking thinner than I remembered, but with that same cocky smile. "What are you doing here?" I asked, my voice shaking. "I got out last week. Figured I would come see how you are doing. You need to leave." "Come on, Lily. Do not be like that. We are old friends. We are not friends. You ruined my life." "I did not ruin anything. You made your own choices." My manager came over. "Is there a problem here?" "No problem," Jake said smoothly. "Just saying hi to an old friend." He left, but not before giving me a look that made my skin crawl. That night, I could not sleep. Seeing Jake had triggered something in me. Memories of how good it felt to be high and not have to deal with reality. I called my sponsor. "I am struggling," I told her. "I saw someone from my old life, and now all I can think about is using." "Do not pick up, Lily. Go to a meeting. Call me every hour if you have to. But do not pick up." I went to a meeting. Then I went home and tried to distract myself. But Jake had planted a seed of doubt in my mind. Over the next few weeks, my old friends started circling back. Marcus got out of prison too. Sienna, who had gotten off with probation, reached out. "We miss you. she texted. Come hang out like old times. I should have blocked their numbers. I should have reported them to my probation officer, but I did not. Part of me, a weak, broken part, was curious. Part of me missed the simplicity of getting high and not having to feel anything. One night, I met Sienna for coffee. Just coffee, I told myself. You look good, she said. Really healthy. Thanks. I have been working hard on my recovery. That is great. Really great. She paused. Hey, a bunch of us are hanging out this weekend, just like old times. You should come. I do not think that is a good idea. Why not? It is just hanging out. No pressure. Sienna, I am clean. I cannot be around that stuff. Who said anything about that stuff? We are just going to chill. Listen to music. Have some drinks. That is it. I should have said no, but I was lonely. My recovery friends were great, but they did not understand me the way my old friends did. Maybe, I said. I will think about it. That weekend, I went to the party, and that was the beginning of my second fall. The party started innocent enough. Just people hanging out, drinking, listening to music. I told myself I would just stay for an hour, be social, then leave. But then someone pulled out cocaine. Want a line? Jake asked, offering it casually like it was no big deal. No, I said. I am clean. One line is not going to hurt you, Lily. You have got this under control now. I said no. But as the night went on, as everyone around me got high, I felt that familiar pull. That voice in my head that said one time would not hurt. That I could handle it now. That I was stronger than before. By midnight, I was high. And just like that, 18 months of sobriety was gone. I told myself it was just one time, just one slip. I would get back on track tomorrow. But tomorrow came and I used again. And then the next day. And then every day. Within 2 months, I was in full relapse. I lost my job at the coffee shop for showing up late and high. I stopped going to meetings. I stopped calling my sponsor. I stopped answering my parents' calls. I moved back in with Jake and the others. Back to that same dump apartment. Back to the same cycle of getting high, coming down, getting high again. But this time was worse. This time, I knew better. I knew what I was throwing away. I knew the pain I was causing my parents. I knew I was destroying myself, and I did it anyway. Because addiction does not care about knowledge or willpower or good intentions. Addiction is a monster that takes everything. By the time I was 25, I was worse than I had ever been. I had lost more weight. My skin was terrible. My hair was falling out. I looked sick because I was sick. I hated myself. Hated what I had become. Hated that I could not stop even though I desperately wanted to. One night, alone in my filthy room, I decided I could not do this anymore. I could not keep living like this. I could not keep hurting people. I could not keep being this person. I found a bottle of pills. I was not even sure what they were. But I knew if I took enough of them, I would not wake up, and that seemed like a mercy. I sat on my mattress on the floor, pills in hand, and I thought about my mom, about how she used to braid my hair when I was little, about how she used to sing to me, about how I had broken her heart. I thought about my dad, about how he used to take me fishing, about how proud he was the day I graduated high school, about how I had let him down. I thought about Commander Johnson, about the way she had looked at me in that holding cell and told me to fight, about how I had thrown away the chance she had given me. And then I swallowed the pills. All of them. I lay down on my mattress and closed my eyes, and I waited to die. I did not die. I woke up in a hospital, groggy and confused, with a tube down my throat and machines beeping around me. My first thought was disappointment. I could not even kill myself right. My second thought was fear. What would happen now? A nurse came over when she saw I was awake. "Welcome back, sweetie. You gave everyone quite a scare." "How did I get here?" I croaked. "Your roommate found you and called 911. You are very lucky. Another hour and we would not have been able to save you." Lucky. That was a funny word for it. Over the next few hours, doctors came and went. They pumped my stomach. They ran tests. They put me on psychiatric hold. And then my parents arrived. I had not seen them in over a year. They looked older. My mom's hair had more gray. My dad's face had more lines. They looked tired and sad and scared. When my mom saw me, she burst into tears. "My baby," she sobbed, rushing to my bedside. "My sweet baby girl, what have you done?" "I am sorry," I whispered. It was all I could say. "I am so sorry." My dad stood at the foot of the bed, his jaw tight, his eyes wet. "We almost lost you," he said. "Do you understand that? We almost lost you. I know I am sorry." They sat with me for hours. They did not lecture me. They did not yell. They just sat there, holding my hands, crying. Finally, my mom said, "We cannot do this alone anymore. Lily, we need help. We do not know how to save you." "Nobody can save me," I said. "I am too far gone." "That is not true," my dad said firmly. "You are our daughter. You are not gone. You are still in there somewhere." "I tried. I failed you. I failed myself. I cannot do this." My parents looked at each other, some unspoken communication passing between them. "There is someone who helped you before," my mom said slowly. "That police commander, Michelle Johnson. Maybe she could help again." "No," I said immediately. "I cannot face her. She gave me a chance, and I threw it away. She probably hates me now." "We are going to talk to her anyway," my dad said. "If there is even a chance she can help, we have to try." "Dad, please, do not." But I could see in their faces that they had already decided. My parents were desperate, and desperate people do desperate things, even if it meant asking a cop to save their drug addict daughter for the second time. 3 days later, I was released from the hospital into a psychiatric facility for evaluation. I was numb, going through the motions, not caring what happened to me. My parents visited every day. They looked exhausted, aged by worry. "We talked to Commander Johnson," my mom said on the 4th day. My heart skipped. "She is coming to see you tomorrow." "Mom, no, I cannot face her." "Yes, you can, and you will." That night, I barely slept. I was terrified of seeing Michelle again, terrified of the disappointment I would see in her eyes. The next afternoon, a nurse told me I had a visitor. I walked to the visiting room on shaky legs, and there she was. Commander Michelle Johnson looked exactly as I remembered. Black hair, sharp eyes, professional demeanor. But there was something else in her face when she saw me, something that looked like pain. "Hello, Lily," she said softly. "Hi." I could not meet her eyes. "Sit down." I sat across from her, staring at the table. "Look at me, Lily." I forced myself to look up. Her eyes were not angry. They were sad. "Your parents are worried about you," she said. "I know. They asked me to help you. You do not have to. I know I messed up. I know I wasted the chance you gave me. That is not why I am here." I looked at her, confused. "Then why are you here?" She was quiet for a long moment. Then she said something that shocked me. "Because I have thought about you every day for the past 2 years." My breath caught. "When I met you in that holding cell, something happened that should not have happened. I started to care about you, as a person, not just as a case. I watched you fight to get clean, and I was so proud of you. And when I heard you relapsed, when I heard you tried to kill yourself." Her voice broke slightly. It broke my heart. Tears filled my eyes. "I am sorry. I am so sorry. I am not here for an apology, Lily. I am here because I want to help you, really help you, not as Commander Johnson, not as a cop, just as Michelle, as someone who cares about you." "Why?" I whispered. "Why do you care?" She looked at me for a long moment. "Because I see something in you that is worth saving. Because you deserve a chance to be happy." She paused. "Because somewhere along the way, I started to have feelings for you that I should not have." The air left my lungs. "What?" "I know it is inappropriate. I know it is wrong. I am 15 years older than you. I was the cop on your case. But I cannot help how I feel. I have tried to forget about you. I have tried to move on, but I cannot. I stared at her, unable to process what I was hearing. I am not telling you this to pressure you, she continued quickly. I am telling you because I want you to understand that this is not just charity. This is not just me doing my job. If you let me help you, if you let me be part of your recovery, it is because I genuinely care what happens to you. I do not understand, I said, my voice shaking. How can you have feelings for someone like me? I am a mess. I am broken. You are not broken. You are sick. And sickness can be healed. Let me help you, Lily. Please let me be there for you while you get better. I looked at this strong, beautiful, professional woman sitting across from me, offering me something I did not think I deserved. Okay, I whispered. Okay. And for the first time in months, I felt something other than despair. I felt hope. Michelle kept her word. Over the next few weeks, while I was still in the psychiatric facility, she visited me almost every day. Not as Commander Johnson, just as Michelle. We talked about everything. My childhood, her job, my addiction, her fears. She told me about the stress of her work, about seeing so much pain and violence, about needing therapy to cope with it all. Everyone thinks cops are tough and unbreakable, she said one day, but we are just people. We hurt. We struggle. We need help too. Do you go to therapy? I asked. Every week for the past 5 years. It is the only way I can do this job without losing myself. I liked that she was honest with me, that she did not pretend to be perfect. After 3 weeks, I was released from the facility with a new treatment plan: intensive outpatient therapy, daily NA meetings, weekly check-ins with a psychiatrist. But this time, I had something I did not have before. I had Michelle. She offered to let me stay in her guest room while I got back on my feet. My parents were supportive of the idea, relieved that someone responsible was looking after me. Are you sure? I asked her. That is a lot to take on, I am sure. Michelle's house was in a quiet neighborhood, a modest 2-bedroom with a small yard. It was clean and organized and felt safe. The guest room is yours, she said, showing me a simple room with a bed, a dresser, and a desk. Make yourself at home. That first night, I lay in the clean bed in the quiet room and I cried. Not sad tears, relieved tears, grateful tears. Someone believed in me. Someone cared. Someone was willing to fight for me when I could not fight for myself. Living with Michelle was different from anything I had experienced. She was structured and disciplined. She woke up early, worked out, made healthy meals. She went to work, came home, took care of business, went to bed at a reasonable hour. At first it was jarring. I was used to chaos, but slowly I adapted to her routine. She made me breakfast every morning before she left for work. She checked in with me throughout the day via text. She came home and asked about my therapy sessions. How was your day? She would ask every evening. Good, hard, but good. Tell me about it. And I would tell her about group therapy, about the other addicts I was meeting, about the things I was learning about myself. She listened without judgment. She offered advice when I asked for it. She just let me talk when I needed to. But there was also tension. The kind of tension that comes from two people who are attracted to each other trying to keep things appropriate. I would catch her looking at me sometimes, her eyes lingering just a bit too long, and I would look at her, taking in her strength, her confidence, her kindness, and I would feel something I had not felt in years. Attraction. Real, genuine attraction. But we did not act on it. She kept a professional distance, and I focused on my recovery. 2 months passed. I was clean, going to meetings, working with my therapist. I got a new job at a bookstore. I was rebuilding my life, slowly and carefully, and my feelings for Michelle were growing stronger every day. One night we were sitting on her couch watching a movie. She was on one end, I was on the other, a careful distance between us. "Michelle," I said during a commercial break. "Yeah. Can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Do you ever think about us? About what might happen when I am further along in my recovery?" She was quiet for a long moment. "As I think about it all the time." "What do you think?" She turned to look at me. "I think that you need to focus on getting healthy. I think that any relationship right now would be a distraction from that. I think that my feelings for you are real, but they need to wait until you are in a place where you can reciprocate them healthily. What if I am ready now? You are not." "How do you know?" "Because recovery takes time, Lily. You are doing great, but you are still early in this process. You need to learn who you are without drugs. You need to build a foundation for yourself. And then, if you still have feelings for me, we can talk about it." I was disappointed, but I also knew she was right. "Okay," I said. "How long?" "At least a year of sobriety, at least." A year seemed like forever. But I also understood that Michelle was protecting both of us. "Okay," I said again. "I can wait." She smiled. "Good. Now let's finish this movie." But as we sat there, both of us pretending to watch the screen, I could feel the tension between us. The wanting, the waiting. It was going to be a long year. 8 months into my sobriety, I hit a major milestone. A year clean from my relapse. It was not a full year from my original recovery, but it was a year from my lowest point. Michelle threw me a small celebration, just the two of us, dinner at home, and a cake she had baked herself. "I am so proud of you," she said, as we ate cake on her couch. "You have come so far. I could not have done it without you." "Yes, you could have. But I am glad I got to be here for it." We sat in comfortable silence for a moment. Then she said, "I have been thinking." "About what?" "About us. About what I said about waiting a year." My heart started pounding, and I think we should wait longer. Disappointment crashed over me. "How much longer?" "Until you are completely stable. Until you have your own place again. Until you are not dependent on me for housing or support. I do not want there to be any power imbalance between us, Lily. When we are together, if we are together, I want us to be equals." I understood her reasoning, but it still hurt. "So what? Another 6 months? A year? However long it takes. What if I get my own place next month? What if I am stable now? Then we will reassess." "But Lily, I need you to understand something. I am not going anywhere. I am not dating anyone else. I am not looking for anyone else. I am waiting for you. However long it takes, I am waiting." Tears filled my eyes. I set down my plate and moved closer to her on the couch. "Can I at least kiss you? Just once?" She looked at me, conflict clear in her eyes. "Please, I have been waiting so long. I just want to know what it feels like." She hesitated. Then she leaned in and kissed me. It was soft, gentle, tentative. Her lips were warm and she tasted like chocolate cake. The kiss lasted maybe 5 seconds, but it felt like forever. I felt a rush I couldn't control. I felt the warmth gather between my thighs, then release in a quick, wet rush shooting through me. When we pulled apart, we were both breathing hard. I felt it still, warm and slick, and I wanted more. "Okay," she said, her voice shaky. "That is all for now. That is not fair. You cannot kiss me like that and then tell me to wait. Life is not fair, Lily, but good things come to those who wait." She stood up. "I am going to bed. Good night." She left me sitting there, my lips still tingling, my heart racing. Wanting more, but understanding why I could not have it yet. I sank into my bed, heat still pooling low. I let my hand find the place where she'd left aching. My fingers finished what she started. 4 more months passed. I was doing well. I had been promoted at the bookstore. I had a solid support network. I was going to therapy regularly and learning healthy coping mechanisms. And I decided it was time to get my own place. "I am ready," I told Michelle one night. "I am ready to live on my own again." Something flickered in her eyes. Relief, excitement. Are you sure? I am sure. I need to prove to myself that I can do this, that I can be independent and stay clean. Okay, let's start looking at apartments. We found a small studio apartment not far from Michelle's house. It was affordable, clean, safe, perfect for someone starting over. Moving day was emotional. Michelle helped me pack my few belongings and drive them over. This is good, she said as we stood in my new, mostly empty apartment. This is really good, Lily. It feels scary. That is normal, but you are ready for this. After she left, I sat on my new secondhand couch in my new apartment and felt a mixture of pride and fear. I was on my own, really on my own. No Michelle checking in on me every day. No safety net, but I also felt strong. I had done this. I had gotten clean, stayed clean, and now I was building a life. That night, Michelle texted me, "How was the first night?" "Scary, but good. Thank you for everything. You did this yourself. I am just glad I got to watch." 3 more months passed. I celebrated a year and a half of sobriety. I was thriving, working, going to meetings, building friendships with other people in recovery. And my feelings for Michelle had not faded. If anything, they had grown stronger. One night, I invited her over for dinner. I cooked badly, but she ate it anyway and pretended it was good. "Okay," I said as we finished eating. "I have been sober for 18 months. I have my own place. I have a job and a life. By your own criteria, I am ready. So can we please talk about us now?" She smiled. "Yes, we can talk about us now. Do you still have feelings for me?" "Yes, strong feelings. I have strong feelings for you too. So what do we do about it?" She reached across my small table and took my hand. "We take it slow. We date properly. We get to know each other as two people, not as cop and addict, not as caretaker and patient, just Michelle and Lily. I would like that." "Good. So, Lily Taylor, would you like to go on a date with me this Friday?" I laughed, tears in my eyes. "Yes, I would love to go on a date with you." Our first date was perfect. Michelle took me to a nice restaurant. Nothing too fancy, just nice. We talked and laughed, and it felt natural, easy. At the end of the night, she walked me to my apartment door. "I had a great time," she said. "Me too. Can I kiss you goodnight?" "Please." She kissed me, and it was better than that first kiss months ago. It was deeper, more certain. It was a kiss that said, "This is real, this is happening." We dated for 3 months before we took things further. Michelle insisted on taking things slow, making sure I was ready for each step. But finally, one night at her house, things progressed. We were on her couch, kissing, and it became heated. Her hands were in my hair, mine were on her waist, and we were both breathing hard. "Lily," she said, pulling back, "do you want this? Really want this?" "I have wanted this for 2 years," I said. "Yes, I want this. Are you sure you are ready?" "Michelle, if you ask me one more time if I am sure, I am going to scream. Yes, I am sure. I want you." She smiled, then stood up and took my hand. "Come with me." She led me to her bedroom. We stood facing each other, both nervous despite all the waiting, all the wanting. "I have never done this with a woman before," I admitted. "I mean, I have never really done this with anyone while sober. I do not know if I will be good at it." "We will figure it out together," she said gently. She kissed me again, slowly undressing me, taking her time. When I was naked, she just looked at me. "You are beautiful," she said. "So are you." I helped her undress, my hands shaking slightly. When we were both naked, we lay down on her bed. "Tell me what you like," she said. "Tell me what feels good." We made love slowly, carefully, learning each other. She touched me with such tenderness, such care, that I cried. "Are you okay?" she asked, concerned. "Yes, I am just." I have never felt this before. This feeling, being with someone while completely present, completely sober, it is overwhelming in the best way. "I know what you mean." She kissed me again, and we continued. She made me feel things I did not know my body could feel. And when I touched her, when I made her gasp and moan, I felt powerful in a way that had nothing to do with drugs. I thought this should be my next addiction. This was real intimacy, real connection, to people choosing to be vulnerable with each other. When we finished, we lay tangled together, sweaty and breathless and completely satisfied. That was incredible, I whispered. Yes, it was. Michelle, yeah, I love you. She turned to look at me, her eyes soft. I love you too, Lily. I have loved you for a long time. We fell asleep in each other's arms, our bodies entwined, skin against skin, lost in warmth. I had never felt safer or more loved in my entire life. The next 6 months were the happiest of my life. Michelle and I were together, really together. We spent weekends at each other's apartments. We went on dates. We made love regularly, learning each other's bodies, finding what worked. We kept our relationship quiet at first. Michelle was worried about her professional reputation, but eventually we stopped hiding. My parents were thrilled. They loved Michelle, grateful for how she had helped me, happy to see me genuinely happy. She is good for you, my mom said one day when I visited. You look healthy. You look alive. I am alive, Mom. For the first time in years, I am really alive. I celebrated 2 years of sobriety. Michelle threw me a party, inviting my parents, my friends from NA, my coworkers from the bookstore. It was small but meaningful. I am so proud of you, Michelle said that night after everyone had left. You have come so far. I could not have done it without you. Yes, you could have. But I am glad I got to be here for it. We were lying in bed, and I turned to face her. Move in with me? What? Move in with me, or I move in with you? I do not care where. I just want to wake up next to you every morning. She smiled. Are you sure? That is a big step. I am sure. I love you. I want to build a life with you. I love you too. She kissed me softly. Yes, let's move in together. We decided on her house, since it was bigger. I gave up my studio apartment and officially moved in. Living together was an adjustment. We had to learn each other's habits, compromise on things like how to load the dishwasher and what temperature to keep the house. But we made it work. We were a team. One night, about a month after I moved in, we were making dinner together. I was chopping vegetables while Michelle cooked pasta. I have been thinking, she said. About what? About us. About the future. 2.5 years into my sobriety, I got a call from my mom. Your dad and I want to have dinner with you and Michelle, she said. At our house, this Saturday. Okay? Is everything all right? Everything is fine. We just want to spend time with you both. Saturday came, and Michelle and I drove to my parents' house. I was nervous for some reason, though I could not explain why. My parents greeted us warmly. Mom had made a huge meal, all my childhood favorites. We sat down to eat, and conversation flowed easily. Then, over dessert, my dad cleared his throat. Michelle, Lily, we wanted to talk to you both about something. My heart started racing. What is it? My mom reached over and took my hand. We just want you to know how grateful we are. Michelle, you saved our daughter's life twice. First, when you arrested her and got her into treatment, and then again when you refused to give up on her after she relapsed. I did not save her, Michelle said. Lily saved herself. I just offered support. You offered more than support, my dad said. You offered love. You saw something in our daughter when she could not see it in herself. You believed in her when we had almost lost hope. I was crying now. Mom, Dad. Let us finish, my mom said gently. Lily, you were always our baby. But for a while, we lost you. We watched you destroy yourself and we did not know how to stop it. We thought we had failed you as parents. You did not fail me, I said. I made my own choices. We know. But that does not make it easier to watch your child suffer. She squeezed my hand. When you tried to take your own life, we thought we had lost you forever. But then you came back to us. You fought. You got clean. You became the daughter we always knew was in there. And now, my dad said, we look at you and we do not see our lost daughter anymore. We see a strong, healthy, happy woman. You have been reborn, Lily. You are not the same person you were 3 years ago. You are right, I said. I am not that person anymore. She died, and I was born from her ashes. A new Lily. My mom smiled through her tears. That is exactly right. You are a new Lily, and we are so proud of you. Michelle was crying too now. My dad turned to her. Michelle, you helped give us our daughter back. We can never thank you enough. You are part of this family now. You always will be. Michelle stood up and hugged my parents, and we all cried together, releasing years of pain and fear and finally celebrating the healing. On the drive home, Michelle and I were quiet. Finally, she said, your parents are amazing people. They really are. They never gave up on me, even when they probably should have. That is what love does. It does not give up. Thank you for not giving up on me either. I never will, Lily. You are stuck with me. Good. I do not want to be anywhere else. I took her hand and pressed it onto my thigh, leading her into a slow, certain rub. I couldn't take it anymore. Stop the car, I told her. And the look she gave me said she felt it too. She pulled over on a lonely stretch. And in the back seat, we let the glow from my parents' smiles turn into heat we couldn't hold. 3 years sober. It felt like a lifetime, and also like no time at all. I had been clean longer than I had been an addict. I was promoted to assistant manager at the bookstore. I was going to community college part-time, taking classes in psychology. I wanted to work with other addicts someday, to help people the way Michelle had helped me. Michelle and I were solid. We had our fights, normal relationship stuff, but we always worked through it. We had learned to communicate, to be honest, to support each other, and our physical relationship was better than ever. We made love often, exploring each other, trying new things, staying connected. One night, after particularly intense sex, we lay tangled together, sweaty and satisfied. I want to marry you, Michelle said suddenly. I turned to look at her. I want to marry you, Lily. I want you to be my wife. My heart started racing. Are you serious? I am completely serious. I love you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Will you marry me? I started crying. Yes. She kissed me, and we made love again, this time with a new kind of intensity. We were committing to forever. We got engaged properly a week later. Michelle took me to the beach at sunset and got down on one knee with a simple but beautiful ring. Lily Taylor, you have changed my life in ways I never imagined. You have made me believe in second chances. You have shown me what real strength looks like. I love you more than I thought I could love anyone. Will you marry me? Yes, I said, through happy tears. 1,000,000 times yes. We planned a small wedding for the following spring. Just close friends and family. Nothing fancy, just meaningful. My parents were over the moon. They loved Michelle like a daughter. My mom helped with wedding planning. My dad offered to walk me down the aisle. Are you sure? I asked him. I mean, I know this is not a traditional wedding. You are my daughter, he said. And Michelle is going to be my daughter too. Of course I want to walk you down the aisle. The wedding was perfect. Simple, beautiful, full of love. I wore a white dress. Michelle wore a suit. We exchanged vows we had written ourselves. Michelle, I said, reading from a paper with shaking hands. You saved my life. Not just once, but over and over again. Every day that you loved me, you saved me. You saw me at my absolute worst, and you did not run away. You stayed. You fought for me when I could not fight for myself. You showed me that I was worth saving. I promise to love you with that same fierce loyalty. I promise to be your partner in everything. I promise to choose you every single day for the rest of my life. Michelle was crying as she read her vows. Lily, the day I met you in that holding cell, I saw something in you that I could not explain. A light that was dimmed but not extinguished. I watched you fight your way back to yourself, and it was the most beautiful thing I have ever witnessed. You are the strongest person I know. You are kind, brave, resilient. You make me want to be a better person. I promise to support your dreams. I promise to hold you when you struggle. I promise to celebrate every victory, big and small. I promise to love you exactly as you are for the rest of my life. When the officiant pronounced us married, we kissed to cheers and applause from our small group of loved ones. At the reception, my dad gave a toast that made everyone cry. 3 years ago, I thought I had lost my daughter. I thought addiction had taken her from us forever. But Lily fought her way back. She chose life. She chose recovery. She chose love. And now she is married to an incredible woman who helped her see her own worth, to Lily and Michelle. May your love continue to heal and inspire everyone around you. We danced our first dance as wives, and I felt like the luckiest person in the world. Married life was wonderful. Michelle and I fell into a comfortable routine. We both worked, we came home to each other, we built a life together. I continued my education, eventually getting my degree in psychology. I started working part-time at a recovery center, helping other addicts navigate their own journeys. It was hard work, emotionally draining work, but it was also the most meaningful thing I had ever done. How was work? Michelle would ask every evening. Hard, but good. I helped a young woman today who reminded me so much of myself at 22. She was scared and broken and did not think she deserved help. I told her my story. I think it helped. I am sure it did. It is weird, you know? Looking back at who I was and seeing how far I have come, sometimes it does not feel real. It is real. You worked hard for this life, Lily. You earned every bit of it. 5 years sober, then 6, then 7. Each year got easier. The cravings became less frequent. The triggers became easier to manage. I built a life so full of purpose and love that drugs did not have space anymore. Michelle was promoted to deputy chief. She was busier, more stressed, but she never brought that stress home to me. She kept our home a safe space. We talked about having kids. We were not sure if we wanted to go the adoption route or find a sperm donor. We had time to figure it out. One night, we were lying in bed, and Michelle said, "Do you ever think about your old friends? Jake, Marcus, Sienna?" Sometimes I heard Jake is back in prison. Marcus too. Sienna is still using, last I heard. Does that make you sad? Yes, but I also know I cannot save everyone. I could barely save myself. All I can do is live my life as an example that recovery is possible. You are a good example. I turned to face her. Thank you for never giving up on me, even when I gave up on myself. I saw who you could be, Lily. I saw your potential. I just had to wait for you to see it too. She came over me and kissed my mouth slow and steady, the kind of kiss that asks rather than takes. I cupped the back of her head, kept her pressed to my chest, breathed in the calm warmth of her hair, and even though we both needed it passionate and rough, the truth of it was simple. We were bone-tired from work. So what we made together moved slow, every touch deliberate, every breath a pause, letting the wanting stretch until it felt like exactly enough. 8 years sober, I was 33 years old. Michelle was 48. We had been married for 5 years. Life was good. Really, truly good. I had a career I loved, a wife I adored, parents who were proud of me, friends who supported me. I was not just surviving anymore. I was thriving. One day, I got a call from a number I did not recognize. "Hello, Lily, it is Sienna." My blood ran cold. "Sienna, hi. I know you probably do not want to hear from me, but I need help. I am ready to get clean. I am at rock bottom and I do not know what to do." I could have hung up. I could have said it was not my problem, but I did not. "Where are you?" I asked. "At a clinic," they said. "I need to go to rehab, but I do not have money or insurance or anything. Give me the address. I am coming." I called Michelle and told her what was happening. Then I drove to the clinic. Sienna looked terrible. Thin, sick, desperate. Exactly how I had looked 8 years ago. "Thank you for coming," she said, crying. I did not know who else to call. "It is okay. I am going to help you." I spent the next few hours making calls, finding her a bed at a rehab facility, getting her admitted. Before she went in, she looked at me. "How did you do it, Lily? How did you get clean and stay clean?" I found a reason to live that was bigger than my addiction. I found people who loved me even when I did not love myself. I learned that I was worth saving. You are worth saving too, Sienna. But you have to believe that. She hugged me, crying, "Thank you. Thank you so much." I drove home that night feeling emotional. I called Michelle. "How did it go?" she asked. "I got her into rehab. I do not know if she will make it, but at least she has a chance now." "You did a good thing, Lily." "I hope so." When I got home, Michelle was waiting for me with open arms. She held me while I processed everything. "I am so proud of you," she said. "You could have turned your back on her, but you showed up. You helped. That is who you are now. I am not the person I was 8 years ago. No, you are so much better." I am 35 now. Michelle is 50. We have been together for 10 years, married for 7. I am 10 years sober, a whole decade. Sometimes I still cannot believe it. I am now the director of the recovery center where I work. I help dozens of people every year find their way to sobriety. Some make it, some do not. But I show up every day and give them the same thing Michelle gave me: hope. Sienna made it. We meet for coffee sometimes. She calls me her sponsor, but really, we are just two people who survived the same war. Jake died 2 years ago, overdose in prison. I cried when I heard, not for who he was, but for who he could have been. Michelle retired from the police force last year. She was tired of the violence and stress. Now she volunteers at a youth center, mentoring at-risk kids. She says if she can stop even one kid from going down the path I went down, it will be worth it. My parents are in their 70s now. They are healthy and happy and so proud of me. We have family dinners every Sunday. They love Michelle like she is their own daughter. Last night, Michelle and I were lying in bed, talking about the future. "Do you ever regret it?" I asked. "Falling in love with a recovering addict? Never. Not for 1 second. You are the best thing that ever happened to me, Lily. Even with all the hard stuff, especially with the hard stuff. The hard stuff made us who we are, made our love stronger." I snuggled closer to her. "I love you. I love you too." We fell asleep tangled together, and I thought about how far I had come, from a 22-year-old addict who wanted to die to a 35-year-old woman who was truly, deeply alive. If you are out there struggling with anything, if you are at rock bottom, if you think there is no way out, I want you to know something. There is hope. There is a future. There is a life waiting for you on the other side of your pain. It will not be easy. Recovery is the hardest thing I have ever done. But it is also the most worthwhile. You are not broken. You are not beyond saving. You are a human being who deserves love and healing and a chance at happiness. Find your reason to fight. Find your Michelle, whoever that person is in your life. Find your purpose and fight. Fight like your life depends on it, because it does. I am Lily Taylor. I am a recovering addict. I am a wife, a daughter, a friend, a counselor. I am 10 years sober, and I am living proof that second chances are real. Thank you for listening to my story. May it give you hope when you need it most.
I was searching for something I couldn't name, lost in the questions, drowning in appeared like an answer in the dark, showed me I was more than all my broken parts. When I stopped believing in anything, you gave me a reason to begin. I found myself through you. When the world went silent, you broke through. You're the light I never thought I'd see, the kind of grace that set me free. I'm living a second life, born again because you tried. I found myself through you. I lost my way, fell back into the night, but you were patient, you held on tight. Every time I crumbled, you were standing there, proof that someone actually cared. When I'd given up on who I could be, you saw something more in me. I found myself through you. When the world went silent, you broke through. You're the light I never thought I'd see, the kind of grace that set me free. I'm living a second life, born again because you tried. I found myself through you. Some search the stars for meaning above, but I found heaven in your love. You're the answer I was looking for, the reason I believe in something more. I found myself through you. When the world went silent, you broke through. You're the light I never thought I'd see, the kind of grace that set me free. I'm living a second life. Everything changed when you arrived. You're my truth, my guiding light. I found myself through you. I found myself through you.
Thank you for watching Sapphic Story Hour. Please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, bye-bye.